This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Well, Jim, the debut of Smackdown draws a 4.16 rating and a 7.2 share from The Observer, while some in WWF expressed minor disappointment with the numbers. Can you believe that, with a 4.16 rating? It beat out the 4.0 that the highest rated show of the previous week on UPN delivered. Of course, with all the millions spent by UPN in hyping SmackDown as the savior of the network, it was expected to be by far the highest rated show on the network. UPN during the 2 hours finished in 4th place among the networks, behind NBC's traditionally strong shows, ABC and Fox, but beating a preseason football game on CBS and WB. It didn't come close to being the 3rd highest rated primetime show of the night, as Vince McMahon had predicted it would. Thunder, which did nothing to counter-program the debut of SmackDown, going with Benoit and Saturn versus Sid and Rick Steiner main event, and little else against WWF's Triple H versus Rock title match, fell to a 1.94 rating, numbers that are expected to fall even further in future weeks. Was this a disappointment to you or those in the company?
It wasn't disappointing to me. I mean, I thought we had a pretty good number. It undershot what some of the projections were, but that's all they were, projections.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that you got a good number in. And I don't know what it did the next week, but nonetheless, I thought it did a good number and one that we could all be proud of. And it was a fun first voyage. For my career, the longevity of my career, doing one show a week was a whole hell of a lot better than doing 2 shows a week. It has nothing to do with, your work ethic or getting lazy or whatever. I could focus more on the primary show that I was working on. That was Monday Night Raw, which was the flagship show. I don't know if they're still the flagship show, but in any event, it was then. So I could just focus my energies as far as a broadcaster was concerned on that show and nothing else. And that worked for me really well. So, and I also was a producer going forward after this week of the announced talent. So I still kept my paws in the mix, and stayed attuned to the talent, the storylines, and so forth. So it was a good time. I enjoyed, even though, like I said earlier, I have no remorse. I was only on the first episode. If I had stayed, cool, but I didn't need to stay to be happy. And I'm glad. I think Vince made the right call with Michael Cole, who's now the lead guy. I think he and Pat McAfee did a hell of a job on SmackDown. I put our 3-man team on Dynamite up against anybody's at any time I've been working. It's just hard to find 3 guys that gel in a 3-man booth like we do, and I'm really lucky to be a part of that.
Yeah, believe it or not, Jim, the Raw after this, it's moved back to an 11 p.m. start time because of the U.S. Open, and guess what? It still beats Nitro in the ratings. Yes, that's right. It still beat the 8 o'clock Nitro in the ratings. That's how hot WWF is at this point. So there we go. Crazy time in wrestling for sure. It's been unmatched probably until now. About now, this is the next big wave as what's been going on in the last several months or so.
It's good though.
Yeah, in a good way. Yeah,
everybody should take advantage of it. All these other companies don't need to be worried about what the competition is doing. They should just only be worried about what they are doing and perpetuating the growth of the genre in general. I wish we could see more of that. But in any event, we've said this over and over. It's a damn good time to be a wrestling fan.
So let's talk about that a little bit. So this is directly from The Observer. Meltzer says, Ross and Lawler did the first week on SmackDown after WWF originally had announced Cole and Kelly would be doing the show. And the second week was Cole and Lawler. McMahon made the call basically at the last minute because he wanted more back storyline, figuring a lot of viewers would be watching the new show and figured Ross, with his experience, could pull it off better. Were you excited to be part of the debut but knew that you were not going to be on the show for long, considering you had Michael Cole right there, or was this something you opted out of over time?
No, I was fine with it. I was fine helping out. and you know, you get called out of the pen, you go out there and try to get your outs and do your job. But I never went into it thinking this is going to be a short-term deal, and sure as hell didn't go into it thinking, well, you'll get a week of this and you're out. Again, it wasn't a contractual issue. It wasn't anything about money. Vince just wanted to hear a different voice. He'd heard a lot of JR. And, you know, as everybody knows, he's not big on Southern voices at times. So I had no issues with it. It was a blessing in disguise for me, to be honest with you, big time. So no, I've never looked back on that 1 week's experience as a negative one. I can always say I was the host of the first Smackdown.
That's right.
And that's what we're watching right now.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.